Hello, in this video I'll show you how to assemble my flip-flop box. You can find the cutting files at the Silhouette online store and at loriwhitlock.com in SVG format. So I've cut everything out for the box here in front of me. You can see that the bottom pieces are this green color, and I'm just going to set those aside for just a minute. Actually, you'll notice that there's two pieces for the bottom here, one that's slightly smaller than the other one. The one that's slightly smaller will go on the inside of the box, and the slightly larger one will go on the outside of the box. Okay, so I'm going to set those aside for just a few minutes, and we're going to start with the top, or the lid. So these pieces here, I've already gone ahead and attached the little covering panels to those, and as I attached that, I put tape runner on it and I just kind of trained it to curve a little, just as I was putting that on, because I'm going to need to curve it around my flip-flop. So you'll notice that there's a hot pink covering panel for the flip-flop and two little green straps, and I'm going to set those aside for a minute, and we'll just start with the basic lid assembly. So you'll notice again I've got one that's slightly smaller and one that's slightly larger. So I'm going to take my slightly smaller piece and I'm going to decide which way my box is going. So just make sure that you work with all of your pieces in the correct direction. And then if you'll notice, I've gone ahead and folded all these little tabs, glue tabs, in one direction, and I've made sure that I've kept my little extra tab piece on the same end when I do that, so that I can attach them together. So I'm going to go ahead and attach those right now. And I'm just going to match up that first little glue tab there. Okay, so it should look like that. Okay, so now we're going to start by putting our flip-flop down, and I'm going to kind of decide where I want the beginning and ending to be. I think I'll kind of have it be over here on this long side because it's easier. So I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to work in this fashion, with this inside piece being the piece that helps me form the whole thing. So I'm going to put some glue right here on these tabs and start gluing it down. So I'm going to flip this piece over and put a ring of glue around the outer perimeter of the flip-flop. And maybe I'll just do about half of it to start with. So I'm going to start over here and just, hopefully you can see that, just start putting the flip-flop piece right there with that edge, and gluing those tabs down on the back side. Let's press those down as you go. And then I've got, as soon as you get about halfway, you'll have to put a little more glue on. Probably could have done it all at once. Okay, and then as you get to the end here, you just go ahead and overlap those end pieces. And I'm going to use just a little bit of liquid glue to attach those to each other. And I have this really handy little glue bottle that I have that has this long spout on it, and I really, really like it. It lets me just apply little bits of glue, and I love that. The other thing you're going to notice when you flip it over is there's going to maybe be a few tabs that need a little help sticking down, maybe a couple that overlap here in the heel area. Just go ahead and put a little glue on those and attach those. Oops, this little tab's not working the way I want it to. There we go. Just make sure that's nice and lined up the way you want it. Okay, here's a couple more I need to glue down. Okay, so there's the lid to the box right there. Now you just need to take this piece and go ahead and glue it on top of that. Okay, so I think you're going to laugh at me. I just assembled the entire top piece to the box backwards. So pay particular attention to this part because I messed up and I designed the files. So you have your lid, looks like this. I just had to recut the top of the flip-flop. I cut it out of the stripe paper. make sure that it's oriented in the correct direction. If you get it going this way, when you're done with the top, it won't fit on there. So just be aware of that. So I was able to salvage my little straps. They have a little bit of ripped off paper on them, so just ignore that. But basically you need to take these two little straps and insert them into these holes and glue them down on the back side. So you can put the glue on before or after. I think it's a little easier to do it after you've put it through the hole so you don't get glue on your project. Then I like to kind of just know that they're going to angle this direction, so just pay attention to that on the back when you glue it down, not to get it angled up or something. Okay, then I'm going to put the other hole, or put the other little glue tab right through this hole and glue that one down as well. And again, you might just want to make sure that that angles nicely for you. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing on these other two. I'll go ahead and put them both through at the same time. And flip it over. And just make sure you get them going the right direction. And you can kind of work with it from the front side, make sure everything's laying nice and flat. Glue it down. So now you're ready to glue this whole piece on top of your box. So I'm going to go ahead and put some adhesive on the back of this. Okay. And it's going to take just a little working with to get that to lay nice and flat the way you want it. Especially around this flip-flop area here. Just make sure that's sticking down. If you need to add a little more glue, go ahead and do that. And I wish I could lay a book on it, but I can't because of those straps. So you're just going to have to hold it and be patient while it dries. I love this little bottle because of this fine tip. Works really well for things like this. Okay, so I'm going to let that sit to the side and dry while we put together the bottom. Now, again, make sure you get the bottom going the correct way. You have one that's slightly larger and one that's slightly smaller. So let's work with our smaller one first. And we're going to go ahead and build our box exactly the way we did for the lid. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, so I've gone ahead and glued all of those little tabs down on the back side of the bottom of the box. I've got my bottom piece down in there to help form the shape. Now I just need to flip the whole thing over and put the bottom on, making sure all of these little tabs are glued down nicely. In fact, I think we're going to glue that on that way, so I'm going to put my adhesive on here. So there you have it. We have this adorable little flip-flop box, and I made it where you can size it down, but I made it where you could make it larger. So that's why all of these pieces are in 2 strips for the sides, so that you can make it larger like this, so it actually can hold something a nice sized. So I hope you enjoy making this little flip-flop box, and have a great day. Bye-bye.